Hi guys, it's me, AZ Cabbie Mama. If you like Cabbies nearly half as much as I do, please like, subscribe, and share. And thank you for joining me here in my doll room and on my channel. I just wanted to come to you from my doll room tonight. I wanted to show you some updates that I made to my doll room. I'm really excited about it. It's a space that I recently created. Since circumstances changed a bit since COVID, I ended up working from home and having an online teaching classroom. So I decided to combine my online teaching classroom space with a doll room. It's like a dream that I've always had to have a doll room as an adult. I never thought I would do it because it seemed like that's a lot of space to take up in the house. But since I need this space set aside for working now anyway, and there's a whole side of the room that the students can't see when I'm online with them for Zoom, I thought, like, what better idea than to make a doll room and have this here so that when I'm teaching the students online and they're looking at me and I'm looking at them on the computer, what I'm seeing behind the screen is nothing better than a dream for a Cabbie lover, which is what you see behind me right now. So I'm really excited about the fact that I've been able to create this space. I've been working on it all the time, like almost daily, trying to get shelves up, and I'm really proud of it. So welcome to my doll room, and let's check it out. Okay guys, well here it is. This is my little space, my online teaching classroom. So I'll sit here at the desk and I teach the kids on Zoom. I do some fun social club classes, which I think were very much needed after the year of isolation that the kids had to deal with not going to school and staying at home. So we do some fun social club classes, and you can see the background shows some of the fun things that we do. And so the kids see that right there, and they see me, and I face them and see them on the computer. But behind the computer screen, what they don't see is this gorgeous view, which I get to look at every day as I'm sitting here working. And I work Wednesdays through Saturdays, get to kind of set up that schedule for myself, and that's what I chose. So I'm in here Wednesday through Saturday teaching, and I get to look at this wonderful view. So I'm just really excited that I made the move to do this, to finally get these dolls. Many of them are recently acquired, but many of them I've had for a long time. And a lot of the ones I've had for a really long time are in other parts of the house. Yes, there are more. So there are quite a few more in my bedroom, and then there's a few shelves scattered throughout the house of dolls as well. And a lot of those soft sculptures that, like the vintage kind that you see over there, up on that second middle shelf up there. So I have a lot of vintage soft sculptures, a lot of Coleco kids. That's really mainly what I'm interested in collecting, because I feel like that's what started it all. So as you can see, there's a lot in here. A lot of these dolls are recent acquisitions, but some of them I've had for a long time, for maybe 20 years, which would mean I got them in my early 20s. And then there are some that I even had in childhood. So I'm just really excited that I was able to use this other half of the room that the kids can't see when I'm teaching my Zoom classes to make a doll room. So it's my little space just for me, for work, and for enjoying this hobby of doll collecting, Cabbie collecting mainly, that I've enjoyed my whole life. So I'll just kind of take you through this space. We could see some of my class pictures from when I was in the classroom teaching. There, my happy place is Sedona, Arizona. Absolutely love it. If you've never been to Sedona, Arizona, I'd say hands down it's the most beautiful part of our state. And I'm originally from New Jersey, so I'm still in awe of the beauty of Arizona. But you need to see Sedona, Arizona one day. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the Cabbies. So we can see that I've got some Colecos original in box, some beautiful AA kids, as we call them in the collector world, African American AA kids. We have a 1996 commemorative Olympics edition, still in box, with the number 19 head mold, very coveted by collectors, that number 19 head mold with the mouth open and the teeth. And that was actually made by Mattel, the Cabbage Patch company. The Cabbage Patch kids have changed hands quite a bit. You know, they started the mass market kids with Coleco. Started with these, which were called Little People, right? By Xavier Roberts, making those out of Babyland. And But then when they mass marketed them, they stopped with the soft heads. They went to the hard heads, the vinyl heads. Soft body still, but vinyl heads, smaller. And they were made by Coleco in the US. And so then other companies over the years took it over, and Mattel was one of them. Hasbro came first after Coleco, and Mattel might have been after that. I lost track. There's been a lot. Play Along, Toys R Us had them for a while. There's been a lot. But anyway, we can see these are a couple of my vintage soft sculpture beauties up here. This was a TLC one I got very cheaply on eBay, maybe $20 or so. She was a mess, filthy, unstitched, had to re-stitch her booty, as I stated in my other collector video, my video with my entire collection that I shared, which the collection has grown even since then, so there might be a few more things you'll see that you didn't see in that. But she came out beautifully after I cleaned her up and restitched everything that needed to be stitched, dressed her up again, gave her some new shoes. She's looking beautiful for her age, right? And some more of the vintage ones. I love them too. They all have a uniqueness, all of the different stages and companies. So I love the vintage soft sculptures. This is, I don't think this was in the last video. I think my other cabbage head that I have downstairs in my home may have been. And so these originally were not really sold. The tag even says, I believe, not for resale or for display purposes only, something like that. So they eventually, when I guess they were no longer being used for display purposes, did end up on eBay, and that's how I got mine. I have two. This is my AA boy one. We have some beautiful blonde Coleco girls here. This is a Taiwan girl. I love the complexion on many of the Taiwan kids. Very porcelain-like to me, in my opinion. We have a number 3 head mold, which I always say, that's the head mold I would be if I was a Cabbage Patch Kid, especially with that one prominent dimple on the one side. Okay, we have a number 1 head mold right here. This is known as the brat face, number 2 head mold. I believe this boy is a number 6 head mold, passy face, AA boy, adorable. This girl has a coveted hairstyle with collectors, which is called the lion mane. So you can see around her face, instead of having loops, which is common, you know, to have the loops around the face, that this girl has what it looks like a lion's mane. So they're not as common. So, and they're often, maybe only with this hair color. Don't quote me on that, but I have 2 of them and they both have this hair color. These girls I recently got, a couple more Coleco beauties. They were still in box. I just got them recently. The boxes were damaged though pretty badly, so I did take them out to come out to play on the swing. And then some of my stuffed animals that have been gifted to me over the years that have memories or whatever. But here we go with some more amazing kids in box over here. I don't believe these were in the last video of my collection because they're pretty recent. So we have a beautiful AA Splashin' girl, Splashin' Kids, made by Coleco. In her box still with her beautiful little robe, right? And then we have a beautiful corn silk kid when they started to make them with hair that wasn't yarn. So if you wanted to brush their hair, I didn't like those as much. I just like the traditional yarn hair, but I did have a corn silk. I don't know what happened to her. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I call it Trash Gate, but I think she was thrown out by my dad by accident. I was redecorating my room basically when I was a teenager, and I wanted to bag up a lot of the dolls and put them in the garage to store them. And when I went to look for them later, he said, "Oh, I thought that was trash," and he threw them out. So a couple of bags of my cherished childhood dolls got thrown out with the trash, and it was very heartbreaking. So I think she was one of them, my original corn silk, which was blonde, and I think she had the one tooth. Right here, we have my Sakuta wedding set. So Sakuta is a factory from Japan that produced Cabbage Patch Kids around 1984 and 85, I believe. So the demand was so great for them that companies other than Coleco started to help out and produce these Cabbage Patch Kids to distribute around the world. Sakuta was the company that produced them in Japan. Sakutas are coveted with collectors because not many were made, first of all. And also, they are known to have very beautiful porcelain-like complexions, I would say, more so than the Taiwan ones I mentioned. I made that observation, my personal opinion on the Taiwan kids, but Sakudas from Japan, these kiddos here, are known generally by many collectors to be in the consensus that it is agreed that the Sakudas have porcelain, beautiful porcelain-like complexions. But what is so unique about them, so cool about them, is that the iris of their eyes, you can see within there a butterfly pattern, and that is unique to Sakudas. Now, I've noticed with some of the Hong Kong and Taiwan kids something that looks similar to a butterfly pattern, but it's not exactly the same. With the Sakudas, it's to the extent that you can kind of even see the antennas of the butterfly. So it's a lot more noticeable on the Sakudas to be a distinct butterfly pattern that you can make out. And the Sakuda wedding set is like, I would say like the cream of the crop with Cabbie collectors. One of the top things that we strive to find, and I recently found a set for a great price, in my opinion, compared to some of the prices I've seen, which were a mint on eBay. So I swooped it right up. I absolutely love them. So we have those. And they are fairly new to the collection. We're not in my last collection video. Over here, I just want to show I put up a lot of new shelves. Now that top shelf with the boxes up there was already in place. This used to be my daughter's bedroom before. She now has the bigger bedroom, and I use this for my online teaching classroom again and / doll room. So that top shelf was already there, but I needed a lot more shelving for these babies. So I recently, the other night, added the shelf right below the one with the boxes, and I also added this white shelf the other day that I now have my Jazmars on. And then these shelves over here, all of these. So I put all of these up myself, very proud, and I feel very accomplished with that. So let's talk about this shelf with the Jazmars. So as Sakudas, like these babies, were made in Japan, so they were not Coleco. They look like the Coleco kids. They were produced at the same time as the Coleco kids, but Sakuda was the factory making them in Japan. Well, the same thing with Jazmar. Jazmar was a doll company in Spain that started making them and distributing them to other countries outside of the US, mainly European countries. And so they were known to distribute their Cabbage Patch Kids in boxes with that country's writing on it, whatever country it was. So if it was in Germany, they would have the German writing, or in Italy, like you see here. These are Jazmars, and they were, okay, all Jazmars were made in Spain, but they were distributed for different countries. So these were distributed for the Italian market, and they have the Italian writing. And I think in Italian that writing there means field of enchanted dreams or children or something like that. I saw it online at one point, so I thought that was interesting that they chose to put that on there. And so ironically, it's kind of cool because the box for these kids that went to Italy, right, or were supposed to go to Italy, it says Coleco. So when I first got them, I was like, are they Coleco? Are they Jazmars? What's going on? And all the other collectors in the group were saying, no, they're definitely Jazmars. So of course I checked the tags. I did open the box to check their tags. Didn't take them out, but I did kind of position in there to be able to see their tags and the back of their neck, and it does say made in Spain. So they are Jazmars. And they're just the cutest little things. So Jazmars have their own clothing, which will be similar to what you see in the Coleco kids, but it's a little different. So those are my Jazmars. Jazmars have a couple other unique things about them, just like the Sakudas had about them, with the butterfly eyes and the porcelain complexion. Now, Jazmars, they're kind of, you can tell, they tend to have more of a matte complexion, which is pretty cool, I think. And also, the positioning of the irises in their eyes, typically it looks like Jazmars are often always looking up at you, as you can see with these kids here. So that's pretty common for Jazmars. And Jazmars are really known for their adorable freckles. So most of them do have freckles, but not all of them, but the majority of Jazmars you'll find have freckles. And Jazmar also only made head molds 1 through 4. They also were producing them in around 84 and 85 only, and they only made the Caucasian kids. They did not make the AA kids. So Jazmars are also very coveted with collectors because there's not as many of them, obviously, and they have some really cool characteristics. Also, Jazmars are often known to be sometimes an inch or two taller than the Coleco kids. So these two I have in particular right here are my taller two. They're quite tall, quite leggy, those two. So sometimes because of that, they feel a little bit floppier, like longer and skinnier bodies. And these two are in particular like that, more so than these two girls here. So we have another Sakuda boy here. Sakuda, butterfly pattern in the eye, as you can see. Also, Sakudas on the back of the neck, they'll tend to have a 2-line of writing. A lot of times you'll see 3 lines of writing on the back of the neck, copyright information. Sakudas will tend to have 2 lines, and above the 2 lines you'll see a J and then a number. And then below the 2 lines you'll see a number for the head mold. This is a little Archer. I just recently got him and absolutely love him. He gets a little shelf of his own. I got these kids recently. Love them, love them, love them. My fuzzy boys here, the ones with the fuzzy, spiky hairstyles. I love them. Love the Passy kids too. They just look so cute with their little hand in their Passy. So this one was a pretty big TLC kid too. She needed clothes, she needed washing, she needed her hair redone, she needed new shoes, and I think she's looking adorable. Head mold number 1 has never traditionally been my favorite. She's a head mold number 1, but I think she just looks adorable now. So head mold 1 is growing on me, we'll say. I don't think I ever had a head mold number 1 as a kid. I had a couple, or at least one, of this, which is head mold number 2, the brat face was the nickname for that one. And then I had this head mold. I had the head mold 4, the Passy face. This is number 3. So I don't believe, have a head mold 1. Now these two were 2 of my childhood dolls. So you see the number 2 brat face head mold. She's actually, I think she's a 15. She was one of the later ones. But yeah, these were couple of my dolls I played with as a kid. Love them. A couple of cutie boys up there, and the boy on the right, on the top there, is from the African factory. So like Jazmar made them in Spain and Sakuda made them in Japan, there was an African factory making them as well. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong. I think it was called something like, I always forget this one, but I think it was like Trian Pedigree, something like that. And their eyes are known to be kind of messed up when you find them these days because something with their paint process, the paint never really set properly. And so they look a little cloudy, or sometimes they're wearing off, and his eyes are a little creepy. So I put him on the top shelf so we don't have to look into the depths of the darkness of those eyes. But you can see some more of my babies up top that I have in box. I just love them. And I put up the shelves, so I'm so happy about having the space to display them again and not have them locked away and being able to get back into collecting them. I even took out my porcelain dolls, which I collected in my late teens and early 20s, and they've been boxed away for like 20 years. So they've just recently come out in the last couple of days. And I have these as well. So I don't actively collect them anymore, as in acquiring any more of them, but I still love them. These have a special place in my heart because I've had them for a long time. And so I wanted them to be displayed too. Even though cabbies are my thing. Cabbies are my thing. But the porcelain dolls, I was into them for a while. Maybe 20 years ago. So, love them. These came from Babyland. These are couple of my modern soft sculptures that I recently got. I had never had those before. I always just had the vintage ones. I have a lot of vintage ones. There's a lot more that are outside of this room throughout my house that you're not seeing right now, but You'll see more of them if you watch my 36-minute video that I had on my whole collection. But these babies came from Babyland General just recently, and these are the modern soft sculptures they make now. You can order from their website, or if you go to Babyland, you can get dimples and freckles added like Miss Olivia Danielle has, and I had them added for her custom, even with the chin dimple, because if you saw at the beginning of this video, I do have a dimple in my chin. And I do have dimples in my cheeks as well. So I wanted my babies to have them too. I didn't have the newborn get the earrings. I had earrings for most of my other ones. This girl was supposed to, but they forgot to put them on her. The other 3 girls I got in the box that day all had them, but this baby didn't, so it's okay. But this one, I was like, I wouldn't give my newborn earrings, so she's not going to have earrings. And I want, you know, as a newborn with the Asian eyes, her complexion to look more like that smooth baby porcelain. I don't think she has freckles yet from the sun, so I put a lot of thought into this, guys. You wouldn't pierce your baby's ears immediately when they first are born, right? Maybe when they're a baby, not but when they're first born though. So I think about these things. So no freckles for her. And I even got to name this one. You can name any of them, you can rename them, but sometimes I like their names they come with, like Olivia Danielle. I love that name for her, so I didn't change it. This one they said didn't have a name yet, so I got to name her. And I went with Penelope Jade. And I gave her the birthday of one of my 14-year-old pugs that passed away last year. Her name was Penny, so Penelope is kind of like in honor of her too. So you can see some more of my babies here, guys. And I have more on the way. So I'm just going to thank you again for watching my video, for joining me in the doll room, for checking out my babies. If you like Cabbies as much as I do, I'd love to make some more of these to share my babies with you, my recent acquisitions. As they're coming in, I'll be unboxing and sharing with you. Because I know I like to watch other collectors' videos and to see their collections and to learn from them. And so I just thought, I have so many beautiful dolls that people really never get to see, especially since COVID. There's a lot less interaction with people coming over other people's homes. So, I mean, I have this beautiful doll space now for myself that I've carved out in my home, but I thought, why not let other collectors and Cabbie lovers see some of my beautiful babies. So please, if you like my babies and you want to check them out, you're a Cabbie lover like me, feel free to like, subscribe, share, check it out. I never thought I'd be making videos, but when I did my first one, it was just because I was so excited to get my kiddos from Babyland that I did an unboxing video because I wanted to commemorate that. It was so special to me to be getting them. I wanted to commemorate that on video, so I decided to share it in the Cabbie groups on Facebook. And then the other collectors seem to enjoy watching it. And I know I enjoy watching, again, other collectors' videos. So I said, you know what, I'll make another video on unboxing these vintage kids now, or let me share my entire collection, or now let me share my doll room, or let me share my Sakuda kid. And it just snowballed from there. So now I'm making videos, and now I'm referring to myself as AZ Cabbie Mama, and here we are. So if you like Cabbage Patch Kids as much as I do, guys, please like, subscribe, share. If you keep coming back for videos, I'd be glad to keep making them and sharing my love for these beautiful babies. So you have a great rest of your day, or evening, or whenever it is you're watching this, and I hope you'll come back again. Bye, guys. Thanks for watching, guys, and for more great Cabbie videos, please like, subscribe, and share. As long as you're interested, I'll keep making them and sharing my love for Cabbies. Thanks for watching.